This is a great inspiration for me. I've never sat down and talked with you, but this in and of itself is a great inspiration for me. My name is Frank Chapman. I'm 82 years old. I got involved in the movement in 1961 when I was facing the death penalty, falsely accused of murder and armed robbery. And I'm here talking to you today because the National Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression got me out of jail. And I was able to give that life and 50-year sentence back to them.
My name is Caitlyn Savado. I am 17 years old. I began organizing in 2020. I think what sparked my initial kind of interactions with organizing movement was the budget vote of 2020. I gave 2 public comments to Mayor Lori Lightfoot. The second one is the one that I believe went viral. It was discussing how much money was going towards the police budget.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, City Council. My name is Caitlyn Savado. I'm a 13-year-old activist and organizer. Today, I'm advocating for the folks in our communities, our Black and brown communities, in fact. But it's funny, though, because that is your job, to advocate and lead our communities. But instead, you are pushing for a racist, classist, ableist, pro-capitalist budget. Because, big shocker, we have decided to put money and property over human life once again.
Mr. Chapman, can you kind of define what a Black liberation movement is for people who are unaware of it?
Every Black person knows instinctively what the Black liberation movement is. You know, it's like I told some young people many years ago. They said, when did you join the struggle? I said, I didn't join the struggle. I was born in the struggle. You know, any Black person looking at their lives, people being evicted, people being falsely accused and sent to prison, people having their children shot down unjustifiably by the police or by anybody. All of these things are expressions of the oppression of Black people. Mm-hmm. The point of Black liberation is when you decide to fight.
When I have been in movement spaces that weren't authentically youth-led, adults' connections to young people really pushed me to want to take different routes when it came to engaging young people. When I led the walkout back in 2021, talking to folks at my school, we would have, I want to say, teach-ins in my freshman seminar class where I would get up, my seminar teacher would let me get up and get on the board and start drawing or writing. And it was so crazy because I was sitting in a class full of kids who had been incarcerated, kids who didn't have food when they went home. And so I'm sitting here talking to them, and kids' lives, like their eyes were lighting up because they didn't know this information. And so I think that what's so important is making sure that we are empowering young people who are often not in the rooms with us.
Mr. Chapman, I see you like fist pumping and stuff over there. Do you want to respond or engage with
Well, the youth is our salvation. You know, this is pretty quite simple. No social movement, no struggle for liberation can go forward without the youth. That's what takes it forward, you know. It's not simply a question of us teaching the youth and giving them our wisdom and so forth and so on. It's also us welcoming the youth to our movement and welcoming them not as followers, but as leaders. You know, they have to lead our movement, you know. And so I was so happy to see this type of thing emerging in the early part of this century, you know, that the youth was stepping forward. They always do. They always do.
There's always going to be an election season, whether it's the presidential election or whether it's a local election. How do you stay encouraged during these seasons where you may have had a win, but then there's backlash to that win?
So I'll say that one thing that I have to remind myself consistently is that elections and election season is almost so intentional that it's a TV show that we're all watching. the idolizing of political leaders is almost so intentional that they're so far away from the reality that we face on a daily. And so I don't even get offended or feel disconnected from certain people or ideations because we were never associated. And I don't mean that in a way that's like downplaying the role of elections, but I mean it in a way of the things that we face and the things that people go through on a daily basis, having to wake up, having to go to work, having to take your kids to school. Maybe you can't even put food on the table. Maybe you're sacrificing this over this. Those people don't know what we face, especially here in Chicago. And I think that it's really, one thing that I will say though, it's really upsetting when we do have political leaders who have been aligned with us, Brandon Johnson, right, who have been aligned with us, and almost feel so driven away once they get into office. And that's discouraging. And that I'm sensitive, so it hurts my feelings because I look at him like an uncle. And so to see the things that are prioritized when it comes to policy or when it comes to our people, not only does it shake one up, but it makes you feel, it reminds you how disconnected these people were in the first place. And so just don't keep those folks too close or those ideations too close, because they will always disappoint us because they were never one of us.
Well, I'm not ready to put that on Brandon yet, but it ain't about Brandon. Mm-hmm. It ain't about any politician. It's about the issues, you know. So if you think you need to push a politician to get the issue done, then you're on the wrong side of it. Mm-hmm. You need to push the issue to get the politician done, you know. And what do I mean by that? I mean, we're still fighting for community control of the police. Whoever the politician is, you know, we got ECPS passed under Lori Lightfoot, you know, who was diametrically opposed to what we were doing. So how did we make that happen? Mm-hmm. We made that happen by building a movement strong enough, because we believe that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. That's what we believe, you know. You elect Brandon Johnson in the office and you expect him to do all of the work. You think you can stop the movement now? You don't need no movement no more? Mm-hmm. No. You don't elect a politician to demobilize the movement. Mm-hmm. You keep building the same movement that got him elected, if that's how he got elected, you know. And I do believe that's how Brandon got elected. You keep mobilizing and building that movement, you know, and you keep fighting for those things. There's going to be disappointments, you know. We're engaged in a war here. That's what politics is. There's going to be disappointments. There's going to be setbacks, but you have to keep your eye on the prize, you know. You have a big advantage over me, you know, and that's the advantage of time not spent, mm-hmm. you know. Your future is longer than mine. Mm-hmm.
I'll just say, because I think I have a reputation for kind of dismissing older organizers. And I think my purpose or reasoning comes from, I want to say, my experiences when I first began organizing and seeing the patterns where young people were really only brought into spaces when they just needed to be a face for something. And that kind of built this negative force within me that wondered why we always centered older folks and wondered why we never really planted seeds within young people that were authentic and real, like conversations like this. And so I want to say thank you. I want to say that I'm gracious right now to share space with you. I want to say that your work and the work of the many others in your generation and everyone before me was not only intentional and purposeful, but is useful and will be used.